Russia's defense ministry has ordered its first batch of Kolitsaya SV self-propelled guns. Military observer Andrei Katz decided this was a perfect opportunity to consider some of the most powerful artillery systems already in use by the Russian armed forces. The military will receive its first batch of Kolitsaya SVs starting in 2020. With a 16-round per minute firing, GLONASS-guided 152.4mm shells, and a range of up to 70 kilometers, the Kolitsaya SV will replace the style 152.4mm self-propelled howitzer, an impressive system in its own right. RIA Novosti military observer Andrei Katz, who some readers may already be familiar with for his top 5 lists, decided to create a new one. This one about the top 5 most powerful artillery systems in use by the Russian armed forces. Pion and Malka. The first artillery system on Katz's list is the Pion, NATO reporting name M1975, a powerful, large-caliber self-propelled artillery piece developed during the Cold War. In the 70s and 80s, both the USSR and the USA were looking for an effective way to strike large concentrations of enemy troops at a relatively short distance using low-yield tactical nuclear weapons in our country. The weapon that could achieve this was the 203mm 2S7 Pion self-propelled gun, and its later modification, the 2S7 M. Malka. Katz wrote, alongside its ability to fire nuclear rounds, engineers would also eventually create powerful non-nuclear munitions for them, the observer noted. For example, the 110 kg ZF-035 high-explosive fragmentation projectile can hit enemy targets at distances up to 50 kilometers. In other words, in terms of combat capabilities, the self-propelled gun comes very close to the main guns of a World War II-era battleship. However, these systems' power and range are not only advantages but to some extent disadvantages, the journalist admitted. In Russia, one can count on one hand the number of firing ranges suitable for firing from these guns at medium or maximum range. In addition, the ammunition stock for these self-propelled guns is quite small, 4 rounds for the Pion and 8 for the Malka. Nevertheless, over 300 of these self-propelled guns are still stored in the arsenals of the armed forces. Tyopan. The 2S4 Tyopan self-propelled mortar, which NATO also designated the M1975, first entered service with the Soviet military back in the 70s, but according to Katz, still packs a wallop powerful enough to prevent it from being retired. The Tyopan's main trump card is its broad range of destructive 240mm ammunition, including high-explosive, incendiary, cassette and guided rounds. In the Soviet era, these guns could even fire 2 kiloton neutron and nuclear rounds. The mortar throws its rounds toward the target, its design allowing it to destroy enemy targets hidden in trenches and fortifications. Furthermore, it can be fired from a closed position, making it much more difficult to detect. The Tyopan received its baptism by fire in the Soviet-Afghan War. Its high mobility allowed it to move along rough terrain on par with other armored vehicles, while its powerful gun allowed it to destroy targets on the opposite side of mountain slopes in gorges and other hideouts. Its high explosive 240mm rounds would effectively destroy enemy firing points among boulders, caves, and fortresses. Vena. The 2S31 Vena 120mm self-propelled mortar system is significantly newer than the other systems in this list, with deliveries into the Russian army starting only 2010. Koch recalled that this system was developed after the war in Afghanistan, where the S-29 Nona, Russian acronym for Newest Ordnance of Ground Artillery Lightweight Air, droppable 120mm system used by the airborne troops proved itself valuable against the Mujahideen.
A little sympathetic detonation there. You got that on video. Oh, I got that on video.
Pointing! You guys are prêts? Faut stand-by. Tu stand-by? C'est quoi, faut que je te dise? Come, move over here. All right.
Don't move, Proctor, don't move!